Today on the program, Governor Ganduje wants federal government to ban herdsmen from West African countries coming to Nigeria as bandits, killer herdsmen, attack Katsina and Benue communities. Crisis looms as COVID-19 cases outnumber bed spaces in states as Governor Ikpeazu tests positive for the virus. And later on the show, Borno Governor delivers eye-catching primary school building project to mark 1 year in office. I'll be hanging out with Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju and Jeremiah Uzor. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with some cherry news. Babajide, last week, now the President Muhammadu Buhari, has forwarded the name of Justice Monica Dongba-Mensem to the Senate for confirmation that finally, as the President of the Court of Appeal, this action by the President is indeed commendable. Remember, before this last week, we spoke on Thursday. We spoke about the rift between Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa and she being forcefully evacuated. The President of the Court of Appeal now, yes. We appealed to the President. We said it on this program, and
the President did the right thing. He did the right thing. We said, look, it's important to play the role of a father. Many people out there expected the President to overlook the most senior and the most qualified person currently in the Court of Appeal, and that is the woman.
That's the practice.
Yes, that's the practice. That's what the Constitution says.
Story.
You know? So the next person to her is a Muslim from the far north. So if you overlook her, then people will accuse you of nepotism or favoring someone from your own part of the country. We don't want to see that happen. We don't want people like Colonel Umar writing to accuse our president of favoring the North more than necessary, or favoring people from his part of the country.
Dangiwa himself is from the North.
Because even from the royal family from Kebbi State.
So it's just the objectivity.
He made an allusion to this Justice Mensem's issue. And the woman was highly recommended by the NJC. So, end of story. If her colleagues think that she's the best, in the interest of separation of powers, go ahead and confirm her. And the President has shown leadership. He has done the right thing by by sending her name to the Senate this afternoon. That's the right thing, because when you allow the first 3 months to lapse, and then
reappoint her again,
yes,
she will not be appointable again.
Yes, after the second 3 months.
Yes.
So
she will not be legible.
People like Colonel Umar thought it would get to that point. That was why he raised the alarm, and the President has done the needful. Once again, the President has shown that he listens, and we are happy about that.
Well, let us also commend the Managing Director of the Nigerian Port Authority, that's Adiza Bala Usman, for donating some office equipment like computers and other accessories to the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, that's Abike Dabiri-Erewa. Now, the gesture is to improve operations of the commission following expulsion of the staff from the former office by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Ali Patami. Now, which forms the part of the discussions we had weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. This is a good gesture. Jerry, coming from the MPA Managing Director.
Yeah, in fact, it's a fantastic gesture, and I think when the crisis between the Diaspora Commission and during the evacuation saga, I think it's good that the MPA has actually come to actually support the Office of the Diaspora Commission. I think it's a good one.
As the time we had this program, we were even appealing to the Minister to release
the
Minister of Finance, and even Patani himself to release the equipment that was seized. Yes. So this will ameliorate their sufferings.
Yes, it will, and somebody still needs to talk to Pantami that whatever he has taken away through the use of security men, things that belong to the Diaspora Commission, he should hand them over. But I mean, it's not someone who is above every other person in our country. He's just a minister like any other minister, and he will not be minister forever. It is important that he remembers that, because as a cleric, he should know, and I want to believe that he knows that power is transient. The Holy Prophet talked about that constantly, because he wants us to behave in the right way to people around us. And Pantami, being one of the most prominent clerics around, he knows that. So this power that you wield today, one day, you will not be able to wield it.
It's
so
baffling that it's still within the same government.
You can't be oppressing
That's
someone.
why Commission is not running.
That is the embarrass. It's the president that they embarrass when you hear about this thing. Someone in this government trying to show that it's more powerful, fighting the other person. It's the president who appointed you that you are embarrassing. It's not that person. And people will sit back and be looking. They will say, oh, Buhari runs a dysfunctional government. They don't understand these things. So they need to stop embarrassing the president by some of these actions. Because you are in the same government. And I understand that even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs stepped in. The minister even went there. You know, so these sort of things shouldn't be happening. But, you know, the MPA
Thank you,
MD
Bala Usman
moved in and said, see, I can't watch my fellow
like
woman embarrassed
Yes.
and made to suffer. So she stepped in. There is another woman now, the one who is the finance minister.
Yes. So
what is left is for her to make funds available, for Abike to go and find an office accommodation so that this embarrassment can come to an end. Yes.
We understand it's a new commission that's just been signed and everything.
Yes.
So they have
and there's no space. There's no space within the Foreign Affairs Ministry for them. So just give them the money. Let them go and rent a place until they find a permanent residence, so that somebody else will not embarrass them the way Pantami has done.
A good one by Ayodele Ozugbakun. Thank you so much, madam. And the killer herdsmen menace has troubled us beyond limits, yet it shows no sign of abating. But the Kano State Governor, Ganduje, is offering some hope. At the inauguration of the 200 Ruga housing settlement in the states, Governor Ganduje called on the federal government to seek a review of the West African protocols that allowed for free movement to stop herdsmen from coming into Nigeria. He said this will put a stop destruction and conflict to caused by weapon-carrying herdsmen in the country. Meanwhile, the killing spree by the bandits and the killer herdsmen continued at the weekend in Katsina and Benue communities. Let's just give you that report on what the governor said.
For many years, many parts of Nigeria have had to contend with Nigeria communal conflict arising from clashes between the Fulani herdsmen and farmers. Numerous peace pacts have failed to resolve issues to the satisfaction of both sides. It has always been about land, with herdsmen striving to graze their cattle on lands already cultivated by farmers. With the coming on board of the Buhari administration, another strategy was introduced to solve the problem: rural grazing reserves for herders, coined in Hausa parlance, Ruga. But for years now, the strategy had refused to take off. Kano State is now taking the lead in its implementation with government establishment of 25 housing units at the Dansoshia forest for the herders.
There are three basic reasons why we decided to develop Ruga in Kano State. The first reason is because of the problem of insecurity. Insecurity that is all over the country as a result of the conflict between herdsmen and farmers.
But the governor expresses worry about the easy movement of herders from other West African countries into Nigerian territory. He feels this intrusion is one of the reasons incessant clashes occur. Governor Ganduje wants the federal government to ban their migration into the country.
Those Fulanis, those herdsmen that are coming from West Africa to the northern part of this country, to the middle belt, to the southern part of this country, such migration should be prevented. The ECOWAS protocol should be reviewed so that herdsmen are not being allowed into Nigeria, so that we reduce the level of conflict.
The beneficiaries expressed delight at the move by the government to settle them. They are optimistic that the rigor settlement would change their lives. Fulani will be provided with education. If that is done, the clashes between us and farmers would reduce. The conflict between us and farmers is caused by hunger. If we are satisfied, we won't be able to move our cows around. Water tanks and grazing areas were provided for the herders as part of efforts to create an enabling environment for them. The Kano State government believed the Ruga settlement would also end cattle rustling, kidnapping, armed robbery, and other crimes in the area.
The government believes building settlements like this would help end the crisis that had existed between farmers and herdsmen in Kano State. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.
Welcome back. Babajide, let's talk about this West African protocols that allowed for free movement to stop herdsmen from coming into Nigeria. Now, the historical perspective to all this is that, look, when there was peace, these people from the Fulanis from across West African states, they used to come, graze their cattle, be grazed, and the weather in Nigeria is quite favorable, and if they don't have grass to feed their meals there, they will come into Nigeria and everything. Now, these people, Governor Ganduje is saying that, look, the federal government should stop them because they're now getting violence.
It is true. 2 years ago, I went to Katsina, to Kankara local government specifically, to speak with victims of attacks by bandits in Zamfara state. Kankara local government shares boundary with Katsina state. So I went to the village of Dansabao and I spoke with women and other victims of the attack on their community in Zamfara state. And they told me that the people who came to attack them were Barayi Hilani.
Hilani.
When they say Hilani, they are local people, so they pronounce, instead of saying Fulani, they say Hilani. That's the way they pronounced the word Fulani. And then I told them to describe the people who attacked them. They described them as the Fulani with hair so long, almost reaching their buttocks area.
And we don't have those kind of Fulani.
Those are not. Those are clearly from the description. You know that they are Fulani from outside of our country. So a lot of these people, and President Buhari said the same thing when he went to Taraba State, specifically Mambila, to resolve the conflict in Mambila. You know, the local people and Fulani clashed in the Mambila area, and so many Fulanis were killed. The president said at that time that many of the people that you see, some of them came all the way from Mauritania. They are Fulanis, they are cattle, they are herders, but they are not from our country. In fact, the savagery that you see demonstrated even you can predict that there's no way we can turn against our own people in this manner because the sheer wickedness. So these are not people from our country. They do not, they are from neighboring countries. You know, if we go even as far as Gambia, Senegal, they are Fulanis.
Mali.
The only thing is that they call them Fula in those places. Like the president of Senegal, for example, is a Fulani. Like the former president of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo, he was Fulani. So we have Fulanis in many parts of Africa. So some of them come from as far as Mauritania. They come into our country and they are always armed. So the president said...
But they used to come before and they are not always armed.
Yes. No, you see, banditry, you see, the rise in cattle rustling also made some of them to go violent. Then that they know that they needed to protect themselves and their cattle. You know, so that's a different issue. What is happening in Zamfara is largely a conflict between the Hausas and the Fulani. So those ones, and then the Hausas decided to set up what we call NSAKE. That's the local vigilante group that confronted the Fulani. So it became a ding-dong affair. You kill me today, I avenge it. You kill me. Now it has become full-blown banditry. It has become a big business because even after the governor made peace with them, they've now gone to other parts, to other states around them, killing people for fun in Faskari and other parts of Katsina, killing people for fun in places like Sabonbrini in Sokoto State, Tureta, Isa, and so many other places. Kebe, you know?
Breaking havoc.
They're just killing people for fun. So these are not, they've now taken to criminality because they can see that there's big money in kidnapping people. These are the same people causing all the problem in Kaduna. Because I got a piece of information that in Goningora, that five brothers from the same parents were kidnapped. Just yesterday.
How much ransom do you want those parents to pay? 5 brothers.
5 brothers. And they are so wicked that if we don't give them, they could even kill those children. So this is the thing. I agree with the governor because he knows that some of the people causing this problem are not Nigerians. And I've said it repeatedly, that a lot of them are not Nigerians. So some of us who are pitying them, we are doing ourselves a massive disservice. You are pitying people who are not from your country, who come to kill your countrymen and women. It makes no sense.
Any attempt to target any tribe in Nigeria, that these two guys are foreigners.
Yeah, as they kill the Hausa they kill Fulani like them. They come to the south, they kill people, you know.
The Southerners too.
Yes. So it's not even, they don't spare anybody. They have no business with you. That's not, they have no business.
Jerry, what do you make of this?
Wow, I think if you understand the complexity of the Sahel region very well, you understand that the climate change, the effect of the climate change is also aggravating issues.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you look at, there's no way, in the Sahel region, you have relics of Fulani herders in Mali, Mauritania, just like as he said, Mali, Senegal, Cameroon. The effect of climate change has made these herders to migrate to the south.
No grass to eat.
Exactly. So that's also compounding the problem. And I think it's high time we have to actually see how to address the problem of the agricultural sector. Because if you look at it critically, this is about livestock and farmers and what have you. And I think that the agricultural sector has been neglected, ever since the era of oil boom, and we've neglected the agricultural sector. Because at this time, when we are supposed to be talking about technological advancement, when some other nations are already sending men to moon, and we are here, talking about livestock, farmers, clashes, and what have you. And I think at this point, we have to look at the agricultural sector. I think the government needs to look at the agricultural sector and see how to address this issue, because it's really, 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 really scary.
Now, Babajide, one thing that is worrisome here now is that the influx of arms, the proliferation of our border, the way these people, they go in and out of Nigeria, Nigeria is too loose, especially when it comes to northern Nigeria.
Yes.
You can still vouch for some border
Very
across,
far north.
across the west south here. But talking about the far north, those border areas that are just too porous. The kind of ammunition that comes in.
It also has to do with the size, because when you see how extensive our borders with these countries are. For example, Lagos State. Look at Lagos State. It's a very small state. Nigeria's smallest state. Look at the border that we share with Benin Republic. It's not really an extensive one. But go and look at the border we share with Niger Republic. Whether it's in Borno, or Kebbi State, or Yobe, about 6 of those countries, 6 of those states, 6 of those states share border with Niger State, Niger Republic. And they are extensive. So how do you then police all of those? It's estimated that there are up to 1,400 illegal entry routes into Nigeria. And they are concentrated in northern Nigeria, in Katsina, in Borno. Boko Haram bringing in fighters through Chad and Niger Republic. They don't use the conventional routes that you and I are familiar with.
The same language.
They don't use those routes. They use the unconventional routes. So they are not interested in conventional border crossing, where an immigration official will be waiting for them.
And those forests you talked about, the thick forests.
The Rugu forest.
Actually,
You see, when you look at the states where this banditry is rampant, they all have something in common. That, see, thick forests stretching as far as Niger Republic and even Central African Republic. So these guys, so it makes it difficult to track them up. You go to Katsina, you see Rugu forest stretching like that, crossing into Zamfara. In fact, when you go to Shimfida village in Jibia local government area of Katsina, this side is Katsina territory. The other side is Zamfara. So that's the way it is. And they share that Rugu forest in common. So those bandits know that this is perfect foliage for us, perfect means of running away.
Hideouts.
Look, in Niger State today, the games reserve that we used to have, bandits have now
taking over it.
Taking it over and use it as a launching pad to kill soldiers in Niger State. Kill soldiers, they kidnap people for fun in Niger State. Go to places like Shiroro, it's extremely dangerous. Places like Kagoro, right up to Tegina, all of those areas. It's dangerous to go to those areas because bandits are literally in control. We hear stories of bandits being bombed. But the day that you had that, they bombed bandits and killed more than 100, just by the close of that day, you read a report that they raided 3 communities in Zamfara and that they have killed people. That was why Shehu Sani was saying, show us pictures. When you claim that you killed 200 bandits, show us the pictures. Because we've not seen, when you kill Boko Haram, you show pictures. Well, you've not shown us pictures of bandits that you slaughtered. Nigerians want to see it. Because Nigerians won't believe that you are doing anything significant until they can see evidence of the kill. Even if the pictures are, you kind of screen them in a way so that people, let them know that during the fighting in so part of Katsina State, you kill so number of bandits. It will restore confidence in the people.
Jeremiah, is it that we can't police our borders?
Wow, over 1,400 illegal routes, and what is the capacity of our security operatives?
Nigeria immigration.
Exactly. Even the immigrations, they will tell you that they don't really even screen, based on ethnic bias or something. They look at routes that are legal. They can't post immigration officers to illegal routes. They look at routes that are legal, official routes, and they will have to screen you based on your passports. And I think it's actually very difficult to actually police our borders, especially when we have over 1,000. We don't even have enough manpower. The police, the army, the immigration officers. They overstretch, exactly.
Internal security.
So exactly, I think it's very, very difficult to actually police these borders that I'm talking about.
Babajide, when we now look at what we should do in the immediate, there are some of these bandits, they are inside our territory. I don't know, maybe they strike, they go. But some of them, they are in
they have bases inside.
Yes, in those forests.
Bases.
Now it's now becoming, they are now acting like terrorists and another version of Boko Haram.
No, they are terrorists. They've look at the emir of Birnin-Gwari once said that the old Birnin-Gwari city is firmly being controlled by bandits. He said it. It's like the way Boko Haram behaves, that, okay, this part of Borno State belongs to us. Nobody can come.
I saw a video, young boys.
That's what they
had RPG with them,
yes.
had AK-47.
That's why if you want to confront them, you have
boys.
to be, you think twice, because somebody who has RPG, you know what an RPG can do. It is a tank buster. It's meant to destroy tanks. And then when you fire it at human beings, you can see the impact that it will have. So this is the thing. They go around with it. You see bandits carrying it. Go around with their guns. They are ready. When they want to attack a community, they come on bikes. They could be up to 300 on bikes. Each of them carrying either AK-47 or AK-49. How do you defeat them? Once they come in that way, there is maximum force. There's nothing the villagers can do. So this is the thing. We must discover where their camps are and destroy them. But unfortunately, many times too, we announce military action, and these guys are not fools. They have information. They have people who work for them. Yes. So once you announce it, you make so much noise that, oh, we want the president said we should do this. They will run away. By the time you go to drop your bombs, it's just empty space that you are bombing.
Still to come, crisis looms as COVID-19 cases outnumber bed spaces in the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, so is the pressure. For the first time, the number of cases dropped in Lagos, which remains the epicenter of the pandemic in Nigeria. According to the latest figure released by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Abia State leads the pack with 67 cases out of the 260 recorded nationwide. Now, the governor of the state, Ikpeazu, also tested positive for the virus. Meanwhile, crisis looms as COVID-19 cases in the country now outnumber bed spaces in the states with 6,994 bed spaces against 8,065 active cases. It means we have troubles in our hands already. When this thing started, this thing did not get to Abia State. I remember the governor at a point in time saying that Abia is in the Bible, so God's own state and everything. We weren't taking it as serious as it is this. Because if somebody is telling me that there will be a day that Abia will record 67 cases in one day, you know, it started with 1, 2, and the governor is now infected.
You know, I was even wondering why the toll was very low in the southeast.
Yes, for some time.
Because our people from the east
during the lockdown,
are the most cosmopolitan in our country. They do business. They are fantastic business
West
people.
Africa,
They
anywhere.
move around. If any country of the world where you fail to find an Igbo man, you better run back.
Go to Senegal, go to Mali.
There is no part of the world where you don't see them, whether it is Vietnam, you will see them doing business. You know, they have that can-do spirit, and it takes them from one continent to another. They are largely self-made people, very enterprising, and you have to give that to them. So I was wondering that people like them, like people of the East who move around a lot, how come in that part of the country this thing was very low? In fact, for in some cases, some of those states did not even have any.
Yes.
But you see, just as we said,
as this is graduating,
when the more tests you do, and that's why I'm convinced that if the governor of Kogi State will come down from his high horse of self-deceit and allow real testing to take place, you will see clearly that there are people carrying the virus. The thing is, many people are how do they pronounce it? Is symptomatic. For that reason, they will not even know that they are carrying the virus. Meanwhile, those are the people more dangerous because they go on to infect people. They think they are well.
It all around.
They think they are well, that they are fine. After all, when the Oyo State governor had it, he was asymptomatic. But he had it all the same, you know? So the truth is, you can't keep saying that, oh, your state is in the Bible. Don't say things that are unscientific. Because God has given us
educated people.
God has given us knowledge, you know. And Luke in the Bible was a physician. So God gave people knowledge so that they can liberate themselves, free themselves from all kinds of problems. So let's just address this problem the way it should be addressed. When you look at Italy and Spain today, they have literally defeated this monster. If you are checking now that, like yesterday, how many cases did Spain have? How many cases did Italy? They know that nothing, no case, and no death. Even America, because of the way they worked hard, although those who hate Trump will not admit it, the rate of fatality has gone down in America. Yes, more than 100,000 people, I think 112,549 are dead in America. But it's not like the way it used to kill them before. So it just means that this is not a death sentence, that if you adhere to the protocol, you will be able to bring the thing under control. And you look at a country like Brazil that refused to take this thing seriously.
Now,
today they have overtaken Spain, they have overtaken the UK, they have overtaken France and Italy. So that's the thing. That's the price that you pay when you underrate this virus. Lagos, yes, the thing came down. Saturday 66, Sunday 33. What I'm told is that the capacity to test came down because of lack of reagents. I know that they are working on that. I'm convinced that the more you test, the more you discover that this thing is here.
Jerry, now when you look at it, now we don't take it serious again. When we see the figures, when we see the score, some people even refer to it as the live score, and they see this thing. But gradually, we are creeping into the 10,000 mark. And after some time, before you know it, we are shooting 20,000, 30,000, and it becomes alarming. It becomes...
You know, I think for some of us, you know, we've been observing this, and even the WHO said that, I think last month, and, you know, they were saying that Africa might be the next epicenter, you know, considering our fragile health system and considering the fact that we have a very weak health system, because right now it's also glaring that, I mean, bird species are actually not enough anymore. But what we are saying is that our people are actually not really treating this thing with, you know, we are treating it as if it's nothing, perhaps because of the asymptomatic cases that we have. You know, some people have mild symptoms, and you know, you'll be walking freely, and you wouldn't even, you know, if they tell you that you have this, you know, you say no because you are healthy. You know, you still move freely, and that. So, I think we should. Then the fact that we are also gradually easing the lockdown, and people can now move at least, you know, a bit, and people, you know, people still, you know, people believe that, oh, we are gradually, you know, lifting the lockdown, then this thing, you know, cannot be really true. But I think with the, you know, governor, you know, of Abia testing positive now, people should now know that this is not really a joke. You know, it is a disease that has no respect for class. It's a disease that has no respect for any human being. So I think it's time that our people must take this thing serious.
And really, if you are having, it's so dangerous to the extent that if you're having an underlying factor before COVID-19, it becomes very serious. A lot of Nigerians right now, especially above the age of 50, they are suffering. They are suffering from this. I think I have my first caller. Thank you for joining us.
Hello?
Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, Felix, go ahead.
Hello?
Felix, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Felix Zungo. I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay.
Concerning this COVID-19, like Babajide rightly said, Kogi State, as it is, we are aware that NCDC went to Kogi needs to do the test. Close.
Oh, we lost Felix. You can try calling us back. So what we're saying is that at the end of the day, the way we are looking at this thing, it could just get out of proportion, especially affecting, you know, aged Nigerians.
Yes, and we must also report that more and more Nigerians are dying. Yes, about 354 deaths recorded already, and I know that many people died of COVID-19 that are not it's not on record that that's what killed them. Some of them died in private hospitals, you know. Some of them, they don't even want the world to know that that's what killed them because of the way we stigmatize people who contract the virus. I was watching an interview by the index case in Kano, and he said wherever he goes, people will be running away from him. That's not a good attitude. It's not somebody who you can't be running away from people in this manner. That way, people will not come out to confess that they have this thing.
Honestly.
They will not come out. They'll be running away. You can see that in Lagos, people submit their samples freely. But once they are notified that they tested positive, they take off.
They disappear.
You will not see them. Because if they show up, even when they come back from isolation, from treatment, their neighbors will be running away from them. So this is the thing. So some of them would rather resort to local therapy, believing that it can cure them. We have not reached our peak yet. You can see the head commissioner of Lagos State said that earlier. We just need to continue to test our people, ramp up testing, and let's see where it all ends. People are saying, "Oh, we are instilling fear in people. We are promoting fear." That's not what we are doing. It's the governor of Kogi State who tried to make it look like the press is promoting COVID. We are not promoting COVID. We are patriots. We don't want people to die in our country.
It's our job to enlighten.
We don't want people to die in our country.
Absolutely.
The way people are dying in America. Over 40,000 have died in the UK. I don't want to see that happen in my country. We already have enough troubles on our hands. Political talks have killed enough people in our country. All in the name of politicians wanting to win election, even when they are not popular. So we don't want things to degenerate in our country. That's why we are warning that, look, just do the simple protocol. It's not a big deal. And then where the government says bus drivers don't carry so number of people, we just need to obey it. I'm happy to hear that in Abuja that many of the churches maintain the physical distancing, you know, and the services went on fine. But
hopefully we'll see what will happen in
old
Lagos
people
this week.
I can understand why they are saying, okay, for mosque, oh, once you are you are up to 65, stay away. Once you are 15, don't come to church. But the problem for people is, who will they keep their children with? Those under 15 children. And then Chief Imam is already in his 70s. Emir of Ilorin, for example, is in his 80s. And they all enjoy going for Jumat. So they now decided, okay, we don't even want to go to do Jumat. We'd rather do it in our house.
Oh, he's calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good evening, Ayo.
Good evening.
To Babajide and your other colleague there.
Good evening,
Yeah, good evening.
On this issue, you know that what I continue to say, you guys are the voice of the voiceless Nigerians. Yes. If you can hear me, on this issue of COVID-19, like I continue to tell you, yourself, Babajide, you have become the voice of the voiceless Nigeria. And I will continue to plead with you to continue to allow, just let them call you whatever names. Let them say you are promoting fear. Continue to promote the fear. Because as far as I'm concerned, Nigerians need to know that this thing exists and is there and is killing a lot of persons in the world. You need to make them know, and they have to know. Because just like you said, we still have persons who will tell you today that what they are testing is malaria, this, you hear all kinds of nonsense. Why people are dying, just like Babajide said, people are dying in different places, nobody knows the cause of their death. These are the issues. Yes. On the issue of Abike Dadri, I want to say something. Babajide said something about, you have a situation, no matter what anybody say about the president today, with what is going on Babajide,
Ais?
Okay. I was just trying to say the president's a listener.
Okay.
Know that.
Okay. Jerry, the isolation center we have in Lagos now, yes. I'm afraid that we can't sustain this high number of infected people after some time. You can't be telling me in Lagos now that we have the capacity to isolate 50, 100,000 people.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, and I think that's why, you know, private, you know, institutions, private organizations have to come on board to actually collaborate, you know, with the government. But I think right now the Lagos State government is also trying to see how to accredit some primary health care centers and other private, so that they can also be absorbed into the chain of treating COVID-19 patients. Then they are also seeing how to collaborate with the private sector, see how people, individuals or private sectors with private organizations with hotel can donate their hotel facilities to actually see how we can address this COVID-19 issue.
All right, there is no stopping to the magic wand brought into governance by Professor Babagana Zulum in Borno State. In continuation of his visionary leadership of the Northeast states, Governor Zulum delivered eye-catching primary school building projects to mark 1 year in office. The ultra-modern schools are further testimonies to his vision to transform Borno State. Babajide, I saw the primary schools and I said, wow, you know, what I witnessed something in Port Harcourt during the time of Amechi Secondary School. I witnessed it, I saw, wow. And during the time of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, if you are entering Osogbo now, you know, when you see the high schools, the secondary schools, and the primary school, you hardly believe that this is Nigeria. But for Babagana Zulum to go to the Northeast, that is, they've been challenged by war, insecurity. So I wish my producer can just show our viewers what we are talking about. For that kind of building structure to be located in Borno State, it says something about the man. Don't forget, 100 days in office is first. Okay.
This is a
primary school in Borno State. Yes. Viewers. Primary school in Borno State. You know, it's first 100 days. You know, he launched it by, you know, set of...
He completed the school building like this.
Yes, in 100 days. And people were saying,
I went there, yes, I saw it.
We saw it and we spoke about it here. Since that time, we've been keeping track of Governor...
How many universities have this? How many universities?
Primary school.
You know,
to mark 1 year in office.
You know,
wow.
you know this in this country. we must ask our leaders, we must challenge our leaders. This man has shown that some governors are just not working in this country, because we now have every reason to ask our governor, okay, show me your own.
How much is Zulum's
Show
IGR?
me your own. How much does it take from the federation account
and how
that
much
is
is
able
he
to do
making
this?
in a war-ravaged Borno State?
You know, and you must praise Kashim Shettima, the former governor.
Yes.
When Kashim Shettima, see how beautiful this is, for God's sake. Even in South Africa and other places, you can't find buildings more beautiful than this. Do you know, with air conditioners, he puts air conditioners in them.
For schools.
Eh? He puts air conditioners and wardrobes. They created sections for wardrobes so that they can keep their things.
This is commendable.
It's water system that the toilet water system. You know, you can't even build something beautiful like this and put latrine. You need to see even the toilets, because I saw them. So the point we are making, when Kashim Shettima came up with this man out of the money bag,
the
money bag politicians,
his friends, his
from
family,
Abuja, big time politicians from Abuja,
yes.
people wanted to be governor. When he came up with this man, he was his commissioner for RRR.
Yes, rural.
Yeah, I mean for
resettlement,
reconstruction, all of that, RRR. You know, they now said he wanted to use the opportunity. He was looking for somebody to help him cover his tracks. But they have seen now that he did it in the interest of the state. This is the kind of transition that we want. Because that Sado-Fato primary school, that black one that you saw earlier, Kashim Shettima had built it up to 75% before Zulum. Yes, this is it, Sado-Fato. Before Zulum now completed it. Kashim Shettima's primary schools. You want to send
this kind of idea.
You want to send your child there because everything that the child needs to play and all that are present. So this is transition, effective transition, not a situation like, and you see, Kashim Shettima
abandon the project of your successor.
You will now be fighting the person who put you there.
Yes,
Kashim Shettima describes him as my boss. That's the man that he installed as governor. He calls him my boss. Except people now get in between them.
He doesn't talk.
And hit their heads
just
together.
went under immediately.
You see clearly that
to give, not to share
so
the
that he
space.
doesn't want to share the limelight.
Limelight
Doesn't want to
with
share the
Governor
limelight
Zulum.
with him.
That's
That
why he
is
has been quiet.
You had your own day in the sun. A new person is there. Let that person do the work. This is what should be happening. Otherwise, you will start having fight up and down.
Jerry, I don't know. I'm just
I think Governor Zulum is a true replica of what I would call a philosopher king. You know, considering the fact, even I'm even seeing this project in the philosophical light, in the sense that this is a state that have been ravaged, you know, war due to the fact that due to the fact that the war, the insurgents, they say, oh, no to Western education. But yet, he has been able to say, okay, let me build this kind of edifice to at least to attract, at least, it's more or less like a philosophical thing, or to engrave education in the minds of the people.
And a lot of the children are children of orphans that are going to these schools. Children of orphans. There are schools that were built specifically for orphans.
That's Boko Haram has
killed their parents and all that.
Last 10 years.
So it is. I said in 100 days I saw a complete building.
We showed it here.
With AC, primary school.
We showed it here.
100 days, just 100 days. So you can imagine what he would do in 8 years. That's why one Borno man was saying, Allah neighbor Muslim. That is God that gave us this man. And when God does his things, he does it perfectly.
Judy, I'm afraid now, because these animals called Boko Haram, I'm afraid anytime they are operating and they're striking, the first thing they want to do is to
they have destroyed many like buildings. You see,
brand new.
They have destroyed many communities reconstructed by Zulum. They have destroyed many. They have destroyed many communities reconstructed by Kashim Shettima.
Something like this.
What they cannot do is, okay, come to the urban centers, you know, to come and destroy things. But he wants to take it around the state. So What we can just advise, you see, it's not enough to have those buildings.
Absolutely.
The quality of instruction has to be top notch.
Yeah.
Wherever Zulum can get the best teachers from our country,
so it's another thing to build edifices
can bring them in. Bring them in. Let the quality of instruction match the quality of the edifice. That is how you know in a few years' time you see that Borno State will be on top.
I have John on the line.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, John from Delta State.
Oh, I'm so glad to connect with you people today. Let me appreciate Babajide, Ozugbakun, and others. Thank you. You're doing a wonderful work. In fact, I'm addicted to Journalists Hangou right now.
Thank you.
Let me talk about COVID-19. For the people who are thinking that there is no COVID-19 in Nigeria, I think they are making a big mistake. It is better that you are careful and at last there is no COVID-19 than when you are careless and at last there is COVID-19 at the end of the day. So everybody has to be careful. And let me appreciate Professor Zulu. He has done very well. And I'm beginning to think that the resources we have in this country, if it is well managed by those who are managing our resources, I think it is enough to go around everybody. Kudos to Professor Zulu. It's wonderful.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John.
You are doing
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Yes, this is a kind of challenge. We challenge all the limousine, bulletproof governors all around town. With their convoy and everything. Let your work speak like this.
Audio popularity.
Yes, and all your audio achievements. Is not. This is
show
what we're
us
talking
your
about.
own
Legacy. This is what we're talking about. We don't mind.
We don't want audio.
We'll show it on this program.
Yes, we don't want audio achievements. Let us see your own, what you have done. Zulu must challenge all of you.
Yes,
Let's see your achievements.
We show it for you. Just talk to us. Because
how much does he collect from the Federation account?
How much?
In a war-torn state.
No peace.
He can still find the time to do this.
Oh no, this is. I think
enough of audio achievements. Let's see concrete things.
Jeremiah,
so
thank you for coming in today. We hope to see more of you. And Vicky himself. It's the beginning of a new week, and that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program, and you can always catch on Journalists Hangout on our platform showing on the screen.